Hi everyone, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me. Many in social media groups have been talking about these X-class flares that have been happening on the sun. And I was thinking, well, if I was Dr. Evil, who never wanted to let a disaster go to waste, how it would be a great opportunity to set a nuclear weapon off in space. To shut down, to short out power systems, cell phone, anything electronic. But first, for that to happen, it would have to be broadcast across mainstream media, which mainstream media is now doing. It's talking about these cannibal solar flares that have gone off on the sun. A total of 5, evidently. It's not going to be a Carrington event, but it could have some impacts, drastic impacts upon the Earth. Sunspot area AR 3664 is indeed a Carrington-class sunspot, but the coronal mass ejections that it shot out towards Earth over the past few days are not as potent as the monster CME of September 1st, 1859. AR 3664 shot off 5 plasma flares, and the first 3 CMEs could merge to form what they call a cannibal CME. Cannibal CMEs form when fast-moving coronal mass ejections overtake and gobble up slower ones. This cannibal CME is expected to arrive late tonight or early tomorrow, about 12 a.m. East Coast time tonight, and it could last for several days through the weekend. Geomagnetic storms are rated in 4 different levels. G1, which is considered minor, G2, moderate, G3, which is strong, and G4 is considered severe. G4, what they're warning people that is coming, are the second strongest kind of geomagnetic storm are considered severe, capable of damaging satellites, causing widespread voltage problems, issues with the power grid, radio, and navigation, and potentially causing communication disruptions. This is the strongest solar activity that has occurred in 19 years. I believe the last time they issued a solar storm warning was in 2005. Potential aurora viewing areas would be like Seattle, as far north as Redding, California, Boise, Idaho, Casper, Wyoming, maybe even Denver or Kansas City, Nashville, Tennessee, New York, Maine, different areas such as that. They can also cause drag on satellites. Sometimes satellites can be put into safe mode so they don't short out, but there's no guarantee that they won't damage satellites. Those in the space station will get extra radiation, so they'll have to go to a certain area of the space station to protect them from the radiation. There's always the potential that it could knock out communication satellites. It could have effect on people here on Earth, affecting their heart, can cause headaches or mood changes. It all depends on their sensitivity, health status, and other physical conditions. In some countries, magnetic field disruptions are included in public weather forecast reports. Scientists have noticed and reported on a larger social scale there is an increased rate of violence, crimes, social unrest, and frequency of terrorist attacks have been linked to solar storm cycles, resulting in disturbance in the geomagnetic field. There is also a positive side of past solar flares on humans. They have been associated with periods of great human flourishing, with clear spurts of innovation and creativity in architecture, arts, science, and positive social change, as well as a variable in the human performance in the financial markets. Might want to watch what the stock markets are going to be doing. So it's not just all bad. having effects upon humans such as your blood pressure, breathing, reproductive, immune system, neurological, your heart, and significant increases in hospital admissions for depression, mental disorders, psychiatric administration, suicide attempts, homicides, and traffic accidents. Oh, and did I mention how the geomagnetic activity can also exacerbate existing diseases? It also affects our weather, increasing the risk of more earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. A number of studies have shown these effects and more several days before the impact of the coronal mass ejection and several days afterwards. So the reason you're going to be able to see the northern lights much further south than you normally would is because the intense currents in the magnetosphere, changes in the radiation belt, and changes in the ionosphere, including the heating of the ionosphere and the upper atmosphere region called the thermosphere. These storms can create electrical currents within the power lines and transformer, which can potentially damage electrical infrastructure. Many modern power grids have safeguards in place, but this coming strong solar storm still could pose a risk to the stability of the electrical supply. It also could interfere with electronic devices, causing software glitches, data corruption, and even hardware damage. So you might notice problems with your computer, not loading fast enough, or glitches in your computer, and that's going to be caused if you have those problems because of this solar storm. If there's a sudden surge of power going through the power lines, hopefully, your power company would just shut it down. If it was strong enough, like an EMP, a nuclear blast in space, it could cause fires to your homes. That would probably not happen here, but how many of you remember the solar storm that knocked out the power station up there in Canada? It took forever, months and months, to get a new power station built and brought in. Now, they're not made here in the United States. The transformers are not made here. Most of them are made in China. Think about if our communication was knocked out and you were not able to call 911 for a medical emergency or a accident, house fire, things like that. The Carrington event that happened in 1859, now that was a G5 storm, and this one here is only a G4. If we did have another G5 solar storm, our recovery time would take years to decades. To make a high voltage transformer, evidently, the time is about 2 years. So can you imagine having to replace multiple ones? And utility companies don't normally carry spares. So why haven't the utility companies hardened our systems? Well, mostly it's because of cost. They don't want to spend the money, and many of them, like there in California, are broke. Much of this I've talked about in past videos that I made about solar storms, the effect upon our infrastructure and our health, things like that. You just don't know what could happen, when it could happen. This is why our great-grandparents, our grandparents, were often prepared. They had extra food in the pantry. They didn't depend on going to the grocery store. They often raised their own food. I recently did a video about if there was a power outage, why stores would not take cash money even. During power outages, stores just shut down because of the computer systems that keep track of what they sell and automatically reorder the items. And when you pay cash, they can't keep track of what's been sold. Say, write it down on a piece of paper, but it's not that easy to do. Everything nowadays is controlled by computers. Stores do not have the food stored in the back rooms like they did a generation ago, or even when I first started working. Trucks come in every day to restock the stores. Every day, multiple trucks. So even if you could get in the store, say, yeah, there's riots going on and people are just ransacking. Yeah, what's there is all there is there. And more likely the food would be gone within one day. And then after that, more likely, people who are preppers and are known to be preppers would be the next target. High-profile people, the rich that we know, have built bunkers and got stockpiles of food. People who have openly shown on social media their stockpiles of food, yeah, they would all be targeted. Your backyard gardens, yeah, they'd be taken. Something's coming. They're now recommending that you have at least 2 years' supply of food, medicine, water, things like that. 2 years. Can you believe that? Something's coming. So when I was thinking about Dr. Evil and taking advantage of a disaster, you just don't know. What are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you all. Bye.